Welcome to the Worldly Show.
Here with your host, Elizabeth, Sarah, Lauren, Spencer. And this season's episodes of Voices of the Worldly, featuring the Idiots Unleashed series. Backed by popular demand, these folks bring their own brand of hilarious and outrageous commentary. So please, sit back and enjoy the show.
Hello and welcome to The Worldly Show. You're here with Elizabeth, Sarah, Lauren, Spencer, and brilliant broadcast technician Mitzi Biggs. Broadcasting from The Worldly Show studios in Los Angeles, California. Today's show has panel members giving us their expert opinions on everything from the church shootings in South Carolina to the drought in California. And something about the TSA. So let's listen in.
Okay, so we got several of our panel members with us today, and we had some questions that have been emailed in concerning this week's topics of, well, specifically South Carolina. Now, as we know, we've had some issues in the recent past, and specifically they've asked about the church shooting. And now there's an issue with the Confederate flag. Does anyone on the panel today have something to say about either of those two things, or something else similar?
Document think that the flag have significant fucking power, huh? You look at the Russian flag and you have communism. You look at the ISIS flag and you have evil and armies of darkness. You have the Third Reich with the German flag, which means extermination of the Jews. And then you have Confederate flag, which means fucking stupidity forever and ever and ever.
So do you think that they should remove it then? I understand there's got to be some kind of congressional vote or something.
Document thinks that when the wars end, everything else with it ends. Last time I checked, 1865, long fucking time ago, huh?
Yeah, it was.
I think that Robert E. Lee gave up a long fucking time ago, huh?
Yeah, I don't believe he's still in charge.
I don't think he's fucking in charge either. I think the fucking flag fell in Virginia, but hey, it's still there. And everywhere in the fucking South. It's really interesting. Ahmed goes to fucking stores in South with Confederate flags on front. And guess how Ahmed gets fucking treated there, huh? Not very fucking friendly, huh? They make me want to go home and get fucking toys and bring them back, huh?
I suppose. But why don't we ask Jethro, since he does live down south? Does he have something to say about
I think that the Confederate flag is a beacon of strength. It brings unity. It has never been a catalyst for the KKK. I think that most people in the South that have Confederate flags are misunderstood. I think that it does bring joy to most people's hearts, especially if they're white.
Well, okay, thank you, Jethro. Is there anyone else who'd like to comment on this topic?
Mr. Happy would like to talk about the flags.
Oh, please do.
I think the flags are funny. I like the colors that they have. I like the way they wave through the air and beacon hate and anger.
Oh, of course, that makes you happy, right?
It does make me happy. I like that a fucking piece of cloth makes people kill each other.
It is quite inciting, apparently. But what do you think about the young man who opened fire in the church?
Reverend Thomas believes that every man that commits a sin, no matter how great, deserves to be forgiven. I do not agree with the Confederate flag being used for such anger and hatred, but God Almighty, everyone deserves a second chance. I know that he's still alive. I know that he has time to repent. Praise Jesus in his name.
Well, thank you, Reverend Thomas, for your outlook on these issues.
Ahmed think that people that go into church are the fucking shoot their fucking pussies, huh? Even Ahmed isn't that fucked up, huh? Ahmed thinks that the men should be fucking hung and maybe quartered like in Russia, huh? You take men outside, they say, oh, you want to kill little fucking babies, and people just praying to whatever the fuck they pray to, huh? I take you outside, I tie hands and arms to four corners of horses, and they, take off, and then you find out what pain is, huh?
Ooh, well, that's quite graphic, but thank you for your opinion. This is a semi-related concept, actually. There is current discussion and political movement for the 20-week abortion ban. As I understand it, most abortions occur well before the 21st week. But does anyone have something to say about this ban, or perhaps an entire abortion ban?
The Ahmed thinks that the abortions need to be mandatory before 2 weeks, huh? Makes things pretty fucking simple, huh? Find out about the ruining body, and then Ahmed say take care of it immediately, huh?
Oh, well, okay, I suppose that's a different type of tech.
Ahmed doesn't want to see you get fucking fat if you get rid of it anyway, huh? Just fucking save the world and, fucking bullshit, waste of time, huh? You want to get fat and get a little of attention, get on free fucking food stamps, huh? Just get rid of it, huh?
Do you think that's your hardened heart that's talking, Ahmed?
Ahmed is thinking that it's common sense that's talking, huh?
Common sense.
You carry baby, fuck up the back for no reason, huh?
Do you have children, Ahmed?
Ahmed has many children all over the planet, huh?
Do you actually see any of them or spend time with them? Are you like a father? Did you spend any time on Father's Day with them?
Ahmed spent time with all of them on fucking Skype, huh?
On Skype? Oh, well, I suppose that's useful.
You can go to 7 continents pretty fucking fast, huh?
You sure can. Skype's an amazing thing when it works. So, does anyone else have something to say? I thought maybe some of the other southern folks might have had something they want to say about abortion.
I don't believe in abortion at all. I think that once a child is conceived, that child is now a human of the human race on the planet and deserves every right that any man or woman would have. Well, most. But that's just the way it needs to be. That fetus should even be given a name after it's conceived, because the good Lord above knows that if you kill it, you are a murderer.
Oh, thank you, Jethro. Do we have any other panel members that would like to speak on this?
Mr. Happy would like to talk about how much of a waste of time it is for billions of dollars.
What exactly is a waste of time?
Well, doesn't it cost more money to have a child defeated at 21 weeks as opposed to 2 weeks when it could be done with a pill instead of a surgical procedure? But we have doctors that like to fuck people, and it makes Mr. Happy because everyone knows that it's such a waste of time and money, but they still do it.
Well, thank you for your input there, panel members. So we have a somewhat very different question posed. It's actually concerning the drought in California. Apparently it's quite severe this year, and they don't really have a good plan on how they are going to rectify the problem. Does anyone have a plan?
The argument thinks that if you take away water altogether and people fucking suffer, maybe they appreciate that.
Quite simple, then.
Document sees on stupid fucking TV these rich fucking people, like movie stars, and they have nice big fucking lawns, and they have the little sheep and fucking goats, and everyone's fucking happy. Oh, Ahmed talk about different continent, but Ahmed talk about here too. They have pretty fucking gyms and basketball courts, and they have little concerts in back, and the poor little fucking peasants outside the yard, they have all brown dying, and Ahmed thinks that's actually kind of fucking funny. I don't give a fuck. If you have money, do whatever you got them want.
Oh, thank you. Okay, well, does anyone else have maybe a solution to the drought, or what can people do?
Mr. Happy has a solution, and that solution is to destroy the planet.
Oh, in one fell swoop.
Well, that's really the only way you're going to fix it, because our fuck-ups are immense.
Well,
we went past the point of no return in 1990 when we gave up on saving icebergs.
So it's just like a moot point at this stage.
In 100 years it won't matter.
I think you might be right this time, Mr.
No,
Happy.
I am fucking right. I am right.
Okay. Well, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Happy. In the news, we've had quite a bit of coverage on the recent leaked test results of the TSA, the Transportation Security Administration. And those test results were quite dismal. In fact, they were horrendous. They reported a 95% failure rate to detect threats. What can we do? Do we need to do anything? What do you have to say?
Document doesn't think that anything can actually be done, because it really doesn't matter what type of job it is. That if you were born a retard and you get training, you're still going to be a fucking retard. Huh?
So you're basically a trained retard.
No, you're not going to get much done if people are looking at the buzz screen instead of actually at the fucking screen, huh? You need to look at screen to catch things, huh?
Well, we did talk about this briefly in an earlier panel session. You had mentioned pay. Pay was an issue. Do you think if we paid them more, they would do better?
I think if Ahmed, you pay janitor more, he does fucking sweep floor harder, huh? And better, huh? You pay Dairy Queen fucking bitch more money, and she puts sprinkles instead of fucking just all over the fucking bottom of the tray, huh? You pay anyone more fucking money, they do better fucking job, huh?
Well, I don't know that I agree with that. I think that it would help if they looked at their hiring practices and perhaps brought in a higher caliber of individuals.
If you fucking pay someone that can tell what 5 colors are and that's it, then you're fucking stupid, huh?
I'm pretty sure that's what they do.
They'll say, I want to hire you, but first, take these 3 fucking balls, juggle them for 4 minutes, and you're fucking hired, huh? Stupid, huh?
Have you ever been through the hiring process? It sounds like you know quite a bit about it.
Ahmed knows nothing about it because that would be wrong. Ahmed would be destroying national fucking security, huh?
Oh, well, I suppose. Well, okay, does anyone else have anything to say about the TSA and their stellar record?
Mr. Happy thinks that every gun and every knife and every nunchucks and every baton and every narcotic and every alcohol that is missed by the screeners then spreads more joy.
Well, I think you'd probably be the first person, or the only person, who actually found a silver lining to this issue. So, well, thank you for your very different perspective.
The
Mr.
more
Happy.
things that are missed, it gives people more chances to play.
Well, in your mind you call it play, and in other people's minds they call it, death and destruction. Then again, I am speaking to Mr. Happy.
They should have took the goddamn train.
The train? Oh, right. But I suppose they could get weapons on a train.
That's not as fun to blow them up.
Although we did have that one train wreck quite recently where apparently speed was an issue. Did they ever resolve that? Did they find out what happened?
Let me spend 5 weeks doing an investigation to come up with a simple answer, which is he went too fucking fast around the curve, and it derailed.
And it really just comes down to that, doesn't it?
Well, if you're only supposed to take a curve at 40 miles per hour, and you take it at 100 miles per hour, there's a chance that the train might fall off the tracks.
And apparently he took that chance.
But it took 5 weeks for them to figure that out. I figured it out the second after it happened, because I saw it.
Did you have anything to do with it?
I didn't have anything to do with it. He fucked up enough on his own.
I suppose that makes you happy.
It did make me happy, but it should have been going faster. I like it when they skid.
Well, thank you, Mr. Happy. Always a unique perspective.
All right. Well, thank you, panel members, for partaking in this week's Q&A. And thank you, audience members, for listening. We hope you have enjoyed the show. Please don't forget, if you have a question for any of our panel members, please submit them via email to questions@theworldlyshow.com. See you next time.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Voices of the Worldly. Please note that any opinions expressed here are strictly those of the panel members and do not necessarily reflect those of the Worldly Show or its host. Further, all characters are fictitious and do not represent any real person living or dead. See you next time.